You ever see a photo and instantly know who made it even before you see the name? That's called photographic style, and I'm going to help you find your own on today's episode of
Ask David Bergman.
Hey there everybody, welcome back. Here I am, as always, answering your photography questions right here on Adorama TV. Today's question comes from Maya L, and she wants to know, is your photographic style something that just happens over time, or is it something you can create on purpose? Thanks, Maya, for sending that in. I do certainly appreciate the question. Now, photographic style, this is one of those topics that sounds really artsy and vague, but there are actually some practical reasons to develop a style of your own. Let me tell you a quick story to illustrate what photographic style is. A few years ago on tour, Luke Combs was playing a couple of nights at Madison Square Garden. Now, it's not uncommon for a venue to have photos on the walls backstage to show off some of the other artists who've played there. The images are usually taken by the venue's own in-house photographers. Now, it was our first night there, and one of my friends on the crew came up to me and said he saw a photo of Bon Jovi back there. He said that it looked like one of my photos. Now, he knew that I worked with Bon Jovi for years, but I don't think he thought it was really mine. It just looked like the images he was used to seeing from me. Well, just so happens that this actually was my photo. It was the only one on the walls that was not taken by one of the venue photographers. He recognized my style without being told that it was mine. If someone sees one of your photos on social media or in a magazine or hanging on a wall somewhere, and they feel like they know that you made it before they see your name, that means you've developed a consistent pattern in your images and it connects with people. That's your style. Having your own recognizable style, it's not just about flattery, it's also smart business. I'd argue that photographers get hired more often for their style than even for the specific genre that they photograph. I've often said that it's better to be a specialist in one genre than a generalist. You want to be known as the best at one thing instead of just pretty good at everything. But I've had people want to hire me to photograph their wedding even though they know I don't do weddings. But they like my style and they want that look for their big day. That's the power of a recognizable style, and many well-known photographers have one. Annie Leibovitz, for example, most people will recognize her work even if they can't explain why. It's not just that she photographs celebrities or how she tones her images. It's the way her work feels, and that gets her hired over and over again. So what are the building blocks for a photographic style? Well, first is the subject. What are you drawn to, even when nobody tells you what to photograph? Do you like to photograph people or places? Nature or cities? The main event or behind the scenes? Your subject choices are the foundation of your style. Second is distance and vantage point. Are you far back with a long lens making tight frames, or right in the middle of the action with a wider view? Are you at eye level, up high, or down low? The physical point of view shapes how your images feel. Third is timing. When do you tend to press the shutter? Are you chasing that peak moment, or do you prefer the in-between moments and transitions? Timing is a big part of why some photos feel calm and others are more intense. Fourth is framing and composition. How do you organize the scene inside the edges of the photo? Clean edges or messy? Symmetry or tension? Lots of negative space or filling the frame with layers and depth? Your framing habits and composition are some of the easiest parts of style to recognize. Next is light. What do you gravitate towards, flash or available light? Soft and flattering or hard and dramatic? Bright and open or moody and shadowy? Light controls the mood and can make a photo feel like a real moment or like a scene that was engineered to work a certain way. And then there's the overall look and toning of your images. Are you in color or black and white? What about contrast, saturation, definition, and clarity? But really, you got to be careful with this. Some people think that the toning of their images is their style. But with presets available to anyone, you can't depend on the look of your images to differentiate you in any practical way. It may be part of your style, but it's just one part of it. Either way, all of these choices matter, and put together, they can help define your photographic style. Hey, quick sidebar, I do want to remind you that if you like these kinds of videos and have a question you want me to tackle, just go to askdavidbergman.com and submit that form on the site. I'm always looking for new real-world questions that other photographers might be wondering about also, and I just might pick your question to answer here on a future show. If you do want to keep in touch with me, I have a site of all the links to my social media, my free email list, hundreds of my educational videos, and some discount codes and affiliate links. Those are all at thedavidbergman.com. You'll find it all in there. Also, I'd really appreciate it if you take a second to go ahead and click that like button under the video, subscribe to Adorama's YouTube channel, and go ahead and hit that bell icon for notifications. It really does help us out and lets us keep producing free educational content for you every single week. Okay, back to style. Now that you know the parts of a photographic style, what if you don't feel like you have one? Well, that usually just means you haven't recognized your own patterns yet. Here's some practical things you can do to help get there. First, you should do a style audit. Pull up your last 50 photos or so that you actually like, not the ones you posted just because you felt like you needed to share something. The photos that you genuinely love. Now, look for patterns based on those building blocks. Do you gravitate towards a particular subject? How close are you and what lenses are you using the most? What kind of light keeps showing up? Are you always aiming for clean composition or chaos? Are your colors vibrant or are they restrained? Really examine it and you might start to see your style because it's probably already in there. Something else you can do as a diagnostic is to pick one variable and then lock it in for a couple of weeks. Maybe pick one focal length lens, one kind of light, or one compositional rule. The goal is to stop changing everything all at once so you can see what other variables you naturally gravitate towards. Once you figure that out, go ahead and lock in a different variable and then keep repeating that until you've got a baseline of all of those variables that work for you. The next thing you should be more conscious of is to stop flooding the world with extra photos. This is kind of a big one. My friend Brian Friedman always says, it's half what you shoot and half what you show. If you share everything, your style will never show through. If you curate your work more carefully, your point of view gets louder. Maybe work on a photo essay instead of just chasing single frames. Give yourself a goal of like 10 images that work together to tell a story. When you create a small collection of images with a common goal, it forces you to think about cohesion, not just one frame at a time. And one more that can really shed some light on your style is to ask other people about it. It can be challenging to see it yourself sometimes, so maybe go on social media and without posting any new photos, just ask your friends and followers to give you 3 words that describe your photographic style. Tell them not to overthink it and assure them you won't be offended by anything they say. And please don't get offended. Then go ahead and look for repeated words. It could be really illuminating if a bunch of different people say something like energetic or fun or clean or moody. You've just got a clue that you can build on. And if their words don't match what you want or what you think they're going to match, that's also useful because now you know what to change and what you can work on. So now back to Maya's question. If your photographic style is something that just happens over time, or do you create it on purpose? Maya, the real answer is both. It happens over time because you make a million little decisions every time you create an image, and those decisions add up to something cohesive. But you can also create it on purpose by paying attention to those decisions and by being more intentional about what you photograph, how you edit, and what you share. Of course, your style also evolves over time. There is no finish line here. Most photographers are never done, and that's a good thing. Your tastes change, your skills improve, things happen in your life, and your style just grows with you. For my own photographic style, I'd say it's all about action and energy. I worked in sports for many years and now mostly photograph concerts. In both of those worlds, I want you to feel like you're right there on the sidelines, in the crowd, or on stage with the band. I'm chasing those peak moments that sometimes happen so fast you might not even have seen them in real life. And when it comes to editing, I keep my toning realistic and natural. I'm not trying to make it look too punchy or wild. I want my images to look like they did when that moment happened. That photo I was talking about before at Madison Square Garden, it was a low, very wide angle shot of John Bon Jovi mid-jump showing the iconic ceiling at the Garden. If you've seen my work, you probably know that's right up my alley. So if you haven't quite honed in on your own style yet, I challenge you to do the things I mentioned before. Do a style audit on your existing images. Pick one thing like a particular lens or compositional rule and stick to it for a while. Cull down your images tightly to show only the photos that truly match the feeling you were going for, and get unbiased opinions from other people about your style. If you do all this, over time, your style will stop being accidental and it'll start feeling like you. Thanks again, Maya, for sending in that question, and thanks to all of you for watching Adorama TV. I'll see you next time right here on Ask David Bergman.